courtroom in northern Germany, a trial only 3 days old, and a woman in the gallery who has stopped waiting for justice. What she does in the next 10 seconds, a country will argue about for 40 years. Not whether she did it. Everyone in that room saw that. What no one could ever agree on was why. And the easy answer is the one thing this case is not. Her name was Anna Bachmeier, 7 years old with 2 short plates and a stubborn streak. The kind of child who argued at breakfast and skipped school when she lost. On the 5th of May, 1980, she did exactly that. A row with her mother and a morning to herself. Instead of her classroom, she went wandering, the way a small child does, certain the day belonged to her. Her mother, Marianne, was 30. She ran a small Lübeck pub called Tipasa. She worked deep into the night and slept while the city woke. It was not a tidy life. Marianne had given up 2 earlier children for adoption. Anna, the third, she kept. She leaned on Anna and loved her in a way that was equal parts fierce and unsteady. Anna liked cats. A man nearby kept several, and she had been to his house before to play with them. To a child, he seemed perfectly safe. His name was Klaus Grabowski, 35, a butcher. To the people around him, unremarkable. To the records, something else. Grabowski had been convicted before for sexual offenses against 2 young girls. In 1976, he had undergone voluntary castration to control it, and then, quietly, he reversed it. Hormone treatment, prescribed and legal, gave back the very drive the castration was meant to remove. The system built to contain him had handed him the key. On that May morning, Anna came to see the cats. She did not come home. She was found that evening. Grabowski had kept her through the afternoon, then ended her life. He tried to hide what he had done. His own fiancée called the police. He was arrested within a day. No manhunt, no mystery. The facts were plain. And here, the case should have become simple. It did not. Because what Grabowski said in that courtroom would turn a grieving mother into a killer. To understand her, you first have to hear how he chose to defend himself. He did not deny that Anna had died in his home. Instead, he offered an explanation. He claimed the 7-year-old had tried to blackmail him, that she threatened to tell her mother he had touched her unless he paid. He said he killed her out of fear. He took a murdered child and cast her as the one in control. Marianne sat in that gallery and listened to a man explain that her dead daughter had engineered her own murder, and something in her settled into a terrible calm. On the 3rd day, the 6th of March, 1981, she carried a small Beretta into the courtroom, hidden. She waited. Then she stood, and she fired. Most of the shots struck him in the back. He died there, on the floor of the court, in front of the very judge who had been trying his case. She did not run. Witnesses said she spoke as the room dissolved into chaos. 4 quiet words by several accounts. I did it for you. In the aftermath, investigators recovered a note she was said to have written. A line for her daughter, ringed with 7 small hearts, 1 for every year Anna had lived. There was no question of what she had done. The only question was what to call it. And that answer would decide whether she spent her life in a cell or walked free within years. Her own trial opened in 1983. The prosecution reached for the heaviest word they had: murder. Deliberate, planned, carried out in cold blood. But Marianne told a different story. She said she had not gone there to kill. She said that as Grabowski spoke, she saw her daughter in that room and fired as if in a dream. A dream, or a decision. Everything turned on which the court chose to believe. So which was it, really? The evidence cut against the dream. Witnesses recalled her speaking of shooting him in the days before. Years later, a friend described her practicing with the gun in the cellar beneath her pub. She had carried a loaded weapon into a guarded courtroom, concealed, with a note written in advance. These are not the acts of a woman in a trance. They are the acts of a woman who had rehearsed. And yet, the court did not call it murder. The charge was reduced: manslaughter and unlawful possession of a firearm. 6 years. she would serve 3, for shooting a man dead in open court with a gun she had carried in on purpose. Because by then, Marianne Bachmeier was no longer only a defendant. She had become something the country needed her to be. Much of West Germany had taken her side. To them, she was not a murderer. She was a mother who had done what a weak and slow justice system would not. When the nation was polled on her sentence, opinion fractured almost evenly. Too harsh, too soft, about right. A country could not decide what she was because it could not decide what it wanted itself to be. She had sold her story to a magazine before the trial even began. The money paid her lawyers. Her grief and her defense had become, in part, a transaction. So here is the question this channel exists for. Not what she did, why? And why the easy answer is the wrong one. The easy answer is that a grieving mother snapped, that for 10 seconds she stopped being herself. It is comforting. It is also almost certainly false. Start with what actually moved her. Anna had been dead for 10 months. Marianne did not walk into a police station, she walked into a courtroom. The trigger was not the death, it was the defense. In that room, Grabowski was rewriting Anna, turning a murdered child into a schemer, the author of her own death. And the court was letting it be entered into the permanent record. Marianne had spent her life learning a hard lesson about systems. They had failed her as a girl. They had failed Anna by freeing the man who killed her. She did not believe the court would protect her daughter's name. She believed it would help erase it. So she did something stranger and more deliberate than revenge. She decided to write the last line of Anna's story herself, before the court could write a worse one. The gun was not only a weapon, it was an editor. It removed the man holding the pen. And the note, those 7 hearts, was the sentence she put in his place. From inside her own logic, this was not murder. It was the last act of mothering left to her. The state would not defend Anna, so she would, the only way still open to her, by silencing the voice that was defiling her. But here is the fact that breaks the clean version. She rehearsed, she practiced, she spoke of it beforehand. She carried the gun in loaded, the note already written. And afterward, she profited. The interviews, the serialized story, the autobiography. Years later, safe from any new charge, she admitted she had acted, in her words, after careful consideration. The dream was a defense. The decision was real. Which leaves us reconstructing a mind from 2 performances. The trembling mother she played for the court, the composed avenger she described once she was safe. The truth sits between them, and she made sure we could never quite reach it. And the broken childhood, the hard life, all of it was real. None of it was the engine. Plenty of people survive worse and never load a gun. Trauma was the soil, not the decision. The uncomfortable truth is this. The thing that pulled the trigger was not weakness. It was the strongest, most admired instinct we have. A mother who would let nothing diminish her child. And that is why a nation could not condemn her. To condemn her, they would have to condemn the part of themselves that understood and quietly agreed. Marianne Bachmeier served her 3 years and left Germany. She married and moved abroad. She lived a while under other skies and never once said she was sorry. In the 90s, terminally ill, she came home to Lübeck. She asked a journalist to film her final months, holding the story in her own hands to the very end. She died in 1996, 46 years old. She was buried in the same cemetery as Anna. Mother and daughter returned at last to the same ground. We like to sort these stories into heroes and monsters. Marianne Bachmeier refuses to be sorted. She was a grieving mother. She was a calculating killer. The hardest cases are the ones where both are true. So here is the question I leave with you. Was it justice or murder wearing a mother's face? Subscribe for the next one. The most disturbing thing about the cold logic of murder is how often it almost makes sense.